Hello guys, this is Deep Narayan Singh. In this video, we are going to discuss some theory questions that are going to come from programming part in your 12th class CBSE for computer science board exam. But most of the questions from programming are coming from these two topics like functions and scopes. So let us see some of the questions of previous year, how they are going to ask questions from these two topics. So before going to the question, let us discuss little bit a concept. So what is function? Function declaration should look like this. Here you have def keyword, then you have what? Function name. After that you have parameters that are being passed to the function. They are not necessarily required, optional. If you have parameters inside it, you can pass them. Otherwise, without parameter also function can be defined. Next is what? Statement or body of the function, as it is a block statement. So there are some statement which are indented ahead that comes inside the function. So this is the indentation label for this particular block statement. This is called function header. This is called function header. That is the body of the function. Then you have return statement at the last. Return statement must be last statement of your function body. Okay, so let us see some of the properties of a function. Python function is a block of a statement that performs a specific task. Okay, so Python function always performs what? A specific task, because similar type of instruction that are dealing a single task, we group them together and make a function of it, so that we can call it later and utilize multiple times without writing or without interpreting it again and again. So functions also increase the code reusability. Next, function can return a data as a result. As we have the return statement in the function, with the help of this return statement, we can return some value from the function after calculation if you require so. Otherwise, you can have a void function also. So if a function does not return anything, that is called void function. If function returns anything, then we have the return statement inside the function. Function only runs when it is called. So for function code to execute, that is necessary to call that function from other function or from inside main. So function call is very necessary for execution of the function. So this is a little bit about the concept. Let us move to our first question. What is module in Python? And define any two functions of the maths module in Python. So they are asking first what is module, then asking two functions which are defined inside the maths module. So let us see what is module. Module is nothing but a .py file, like Python file. They have the variables in them, functions in them. Function might have their own local variable. Module might have classes. Classes contain members and methods of those classes. A module can import other module inside it, and that module can be imported in other modules also. So how it is different from normal Python file? Let us see. In a module is a file consisting or containing Python statement and definitions. So they will have Python statements and definitions. A module can be can define a function, class, variable. Module is a file containing set of function you want to include in your application, but they cannot be executed by their own. They must be incorporated in some other program. So they require other program in which the modules are imported and their functionality is utilized. So you can say they work on the host. Okay, so in other program we call the modules. Let us see two module functions of the maths, ceil and floor. There are many like sine, cos, tan, abs, pow, okay, floor, ceil. So these are the functions which are defined in the maths module. So all the functions related to one concept can be defined and kept inside a file, that is the module, but that file cannot execute by its own. That file need to be imported in other program. So that is the concept of the module, and this is a hierarchy. So once you have created a module for mathematics related functions, now if you require any functionality of math like ceil you want to calculate for any number, floor you want to calculate for any number, sine, cos, tan you want to calculate for any number, you need not to write the functions for those tasks. What you can do, you can just import this particular module inside your program and utilize the functionality of ceil or floor. So how can you utilize these functions or import? So for importing there are two ways, like first one you can write import, okay, and then you write the module name. So which module you want to import, module name. Or one more syntax is there, you can write from, then you can write module name which you want to import, module name, and then from module name import, and then functions of that module which you want to import. So like function 1 and function 2 comma separated. So what is the advantage of second one over first one? If you know exactly what functions you are going to utilize, you will go for this method. Otherwise what will happen, everything which is there in the module will be imported in your program which you might not require, and it unnecessarily makes your program bulky. So for that purpose import module should be avoided. Rather than from module name import, then function name and variables whatever you want to import from that module should be utilized. Module contains only definition part, they does not contain any call. They will have only definition part which in itself cannot get executed. It can only be interpreted, or that is a compiled code you can say. Okay, so this has no errors in it and the code can be utilized multiple times without writing it. Let us see, if you want to create a module, how can you create? Just declare a file, a simple file like it is shown here, calc.py. Let me erase the data or the annotation which I have created there. So a simple module calc.py file you can create, and inside it you will have these two functions, def add xy where it is returning sum of xy, def subtract xy where it is returning x minus y. But in this file you do not have any function call and nothing is defined from the starting indentation label, means that can be considered inside main. So what will happen, that this file in itself cannot not going to produce anything. This is just a definition file which can be utilized in other files and can be imported in other Python programs. I hope it is clear about what is module and what are two functions of the math module, and how can you create a module and how can you import the module. Going for the next question, what is a doc string? So let us see. A doc string is a Python triple quoted string that is first thing in a function body or module or class, so programmers can understand what it does without having to read the detail of the implementation. So it is like a comment but not exactly the comment. Python stores the doc string in a special variable called underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. Now what is the purpose? To explain what that code does, what that function does, or what that module does, because it can be inside a function or a module or a class. So it tells to the programmer what that particular function or module or class is doing. Okay, and this is a first thing to write inside the functions or modules or class, and that should be declared inside triple quotes. Okay, so you need to keep in mind, because doc string is declared inside triple quotes, they can also be a multi-line string. Python stores it as a part of function documentation. Doc string appears like comment but they are different. Let us see with the example. There we have a function called square. Inside that we have first thing, that is a string inside triple quotes, that is what? Doc string. Now what is the advantage? Advantage is that if someone does not know what this square function is doing, he has two ways to display the doc string which will tell exactly what that function is doing. So you can access it using this variable called underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. So you will write the function name, then dot, then underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. Or otherwise you can utilize this function called help. Inside that help, write the function name, it will print the doc string. Remember, this is a user defined function, so very simple code, only one instruction is there. It is returning a square of a number. Like if you want to know about the print function, a lot of things is uh, done by the print function. So if I do like print underscore underscore doc underscore underscore, so what will happen? This particular thing can print everything about print function implementation. So user can understand by reading that doc string what this print function does, what are the parameters it takes, how the calculation are being performed inside the function without reading the implementation, because reading programming language is difficult and reading English language is easy. So I hope you got it. The purpose to give idea about what that particular module or function or class is doing, we will write that in a doc string. Let us see the next question. What is the meaning of return value in a function? Give an example to illustrate its meaning. So when you want to return any value from a function, what you use? Return statement. Return value of a function is the value which is being given back to the calling, or sometime calling function may be main. So for main function program, after the execution of the function, so when your execution of the program finishes, it returns a particular value to the calling function. Let us see from the example. So there is this function called check, and this check function is returning a variable y plus 1. So what is the y plus 1? That is 100 101. That is a value which is going to be returned from this function. And here you have the function call. So how actually control starts? First it starts from here, execution, and interpreter will make an entry. There is a function called check, okay, inside memory, and just jump next to the main. So here it comes, and first instruction is available, and that says that is a function call to the check function. So it goes again inside the check and does not produce any error, because it already know there is a function with name check inside this program. So once it comes, now these are the variables local to function check will be created, like y equal to 100. This is a local variable to check function, and then printed y value like 100 will be printed. Then the value is returned 101 due to that return statement. So this value will come back and store inside this variable called x. Now x is a global variable or variable declared inside main. So how much value x will get? X will get 101, and then 101 will be printed. So in this way the cycle completes. Actually we are talking about return value. So the question is how to return a value from there. What do you mean by that? So this is the meaning. You can write any small example to denote how the return function will work. So if it has the return function, you cannot directly call the function like check. Okay, so you cannot write like check, because it is going to return some value and you have to hold it somewhere. So you need to take a variable to hold that value, otherwise Python is going to give an error. So for that purpose x has been taken, so that you can hold the value returned by this function check. I hope you got what is the meaning of return value in the function. Let us go for the next question. Differentiate between call by value and call by reference with the suitable example for each. So actually this is a concept from C++ or C or Java, but here we are going to, or not in Java, C or C++. Here we are going to see actually very vaguely it is like what is call by value or call by reference. So a copy of a variable is passed in call by value. So when you pass 100, actually it is a immutable object. So whenever immutable object is passed, it is like call by value in Python. Wherever mutable object is passed, it is like call by reference in Python. So whenever immutable object is passed, if you change anything in that object inside the function, no effect will be uh, propagated to the main function. Here the variable from which it has been passed, no effect will be propagated to the main function if it is called by value or a immutable object is passed. So what are the immutable objects? String, integer, float, tuple. So if these type of objects are passed inside the argument of a function, then if you are changing anything in these values inside the function, there that is not going to produce any effect, no effect in main function. Okay, so the place from where this function is called, in that place there is no change in the variable in case of immutable object. You can understand it in another way also. What is that? That is, when immutable object is passed, a separate copy of that variable is created. Not, it will not work on the same copy. Okay, so separate copy is created. Change in the copy of the variable doesn't modify original value of the variable. So why is the copy of this 100, even though I have wrote here x in place of 100, because x is holding what? 100 only. Then also x equal to 100, that will be different, and y equal to 100, that will be different, for not for that particular time, but whenever you add one more value to y, so now y will point to 101. Okay, fine. Now this x will not be changed. Whenever you are passing a value in a parameter as call by reference or a mutable object in passed in Python, there is no separate copy has been created. So let us see, we are going to put L here. Okay, L is being passed. So L is being passed, what will happen? LST will point to the same place, or LST will also hold the reference of this same list 1 2 3, and whenever you perform append 1 2 4 to it, so the list will become 1 2 3 4. So L will have now what? 1 2 3 4, and whenever you print L inside the main, this is a main part, and LST is local variable to this check function, but if you change somewhere here in the LST, that will be reflected in L also. So when L will be printed here, what happened? Here should be, what should be written here? X. Okay, so what will print? 1 2 3 4, even though you have not added anything inside the main. Check out, you have not appended any variable inside the main in L, but it is printing 1 2 3 4, because the changes which you made inside the function body are going to be reflected in the main variable. Why? Because the variable that we have passed is mutable. Okay, so we have the like list and dictionary, which are mutable objects. Change in the copy of the variable modify the value of original variable. So if you make any changes in the copy, LST is the copy, so that is also going to be reflected in the original variable, that is L. Reference of the variable is passed, not actually copy of the variable is passed. So this is our fourth question. Let us move to the next. Differentiate between actual parameter and formal parameter with suitable example for each. So let us see, the list of identifiers used in a function call is called actual parameter. So usually from where we will call a function? Main function. Whereas the list of parameters used in the function definition is called formal parameters. Actual parameter may be value, variable or expression, but formal parameter will always be variables. Let us see the example. So this is the function definition. What is that? Function header or function definition, or you can say function definition. So here, what is that side? This is called formal parameter, and this is a function call here. What is that? Function call. Inside function call, what is that 10? This is called what? Actual parameter. Sometimes they are also called arguments. What they are called? Arguments. I hope it is clear. If it is inside the function body, what you call? You call the formal parameter. If it is in the function call, what you call? You call them as a actual parameter. We are talking about this value which is inside these parentheses. So we are talking about this particular value or variable inside. So formal parameter will always be variable. Okay, but actual parameter may be a value or a variable or a expression, anything that can be. Let us see a formal parameter, that is a parameter is in the function definition. Fine. Actual parameter, that is an argument or parameter, is in the function call. Fine, let us move to the next question. Define different type of formal argument in the Python with example. So there are 4 type of formal arguments like positional argument, default argument, keyword argument, and variable length argument. Remember, argument and parameter are same. Okay, arguments and parameters are same. So positional, default, keyword, and variable length, these are the 4 type of argument, and we are calling about function values which we are going to pass inside the function parenthesis. So we are talking about these values. This can be done using 4 ways: positional, default, keyword, and variable length. So let us see positional argument. When a function call statement must match the number and the order of argument as defined in the function definition. So if your definition will have 3 variables, then you have to pass only 3 values at the time of function call. That is called positional parameter. So if I write like this, check 10, 20, 30. So position wise that are going to be assigned x equal to 10, y equal to 20, and z equal to 30. This is how the positional parameter works. What if I give one less than, then Python is going to create an error and say that positional argument does not match. Or what if I give one extra, then also Python will give an error. Okay guys, so that's it. Let us move to the next type, that is default argument. A parameter having default value in the function header is known as default parameter. So in the formal arguments, whenever you give the value for a particular argument, that is called what? Default argument. The only thing is that you have to give it from right to left. You cannot do that. You give value for p like 1000, okay, but you are not giving value for t, okay. So you have to give value for r first, then t, and then you have to give value for p. So it should be from right to left. This is the right and this is what? Left. So first you need to give value for r, then you need to give value for t, then you need to give default value for p. Next, keyword or named argument. Keyword argument is also called named argument. The named argument with assigned value is being passed in the function call statement. So while calling the function, what we will do? We will just use the name same variable names which are in the formal parameters. So if we are at the time of call, we are calling this interest, then how we will call it? Like interest, and we will utilize the same parameter p equal to 1000 comma r equal to 10.0 and t equal to 5. So now order does not matter. In any order I can write it. I will explain it in other questions in little bit deep. Don't worry about it if you are not getting in this question. Let us go variable length argument. In some cases programmer do not know the exact number and type of number of argument that are required to be passed in a function call. At that place we will use this def some star var. So when you write something like in the definition like def fun, this is a name of function, and you will put a star and then you write a variable name. Okay, fine. In that case what will happen? In that case you can pass any number of argument, and those all argument will be stored inside this variable, and type of this variable is what? Tuple. And that can be printed through iteration or through any loop. If I want to get value out of this variable and I know this is a tuple, we can iterate over that using indexes or using element both. Let us see this question. What is the default argument in the function? Give an example. So default argument in a function value provided in the formal argument in definition header of the function is called default argument in a function. They should always be from right side argument to left side in sequence. So let us see, like for example, if you want to give default values, you have to provide first time for C, then for B, and then for A. Definition of a function here B, C are default arguments because default values has been given. So if you call that function with only one argument like func, I will give only 10. So 10 will be assigned to A and B will take value 2 and C will take 5. What if I do func 10, 20, now 10 will be assigned to A and B will take 20 and C will take what? 5 automatically. So like that it happens. Whenever you do not supply a value for argument, it is going to take the default value. The only thing is you need to remember these values must be given from right to left. Right to left. You cannot skip any parameter, and like you are not providing value for C and giving value for B. No, this is wrong. You have to give value for right side parameter first, and then you have to give go in this direction. Explain the code about the keyword argument and default argument. Okay, fine. So keyword argument and default argument. Keyword argument, there are named argument with assigned value being passed in the function call. So I told you at the time of function call we are going to use the same parameter. Like if I use this function for like keyword argument, so what I can do at the place of call function and A equal to 20, C equal to 3 and B equal to 8. So there is no importance of the order in which we are putting this. Why? Because we are using the same name that are in the formal parameter. If it is positional, then we have to take care that order should be correct. Next is what? Default argument. An argument having a value in the function header. It is used when matching argument is not passed in the function call statement. An argument having a value in the function header, okay, it is used when matching argument is not passed in the function call statement. So whenever in the function call if you are not giving value, okay, so like I am giving only 20, so we have not supplied value for second and third parameter. What values it will pick? It will pick its default values. Let us go for the next question. What do you mean by keyword argument in Python? Describe them with an example. When you assign a value to the parameter such as parameter equal to value and pass the function, okay, so then it turns into a keyword argument. In this, order of the argument does not matter. In this, what is important? Order of the argument does not matter. So here you have def, interest, P, R and T. Now we are using the same variable at the place of function call like R, T and P. So in any order I can write, order is not important. And what we are using here, this is a function call and example of keyword argument. Very simple. Just you have to use the same variable names, and with the help of equal to sign you need to give the value for those variables. In that case, order is not important. See, P is at the first place in the function header, but I wrote at the last, even though it works fine. Distinguish between absolute and relative path. So absolute is a complete path. Like if I want to go there, then I have to write completely C:/recipe /cake/ red velvet cake. But absolute path, okay, this is what absolute path. Completely you have to tell the whole path from root to the file. But relative path is what? If you are in current working directory, okay, CWD recipe, then if you want like macaroni, okay, you want to go to this file, so what you can do, you can just say pasta / macaroni. That's it. So from the place where you are, this is my current working directory, if you say, then I told from there onwards, not from the root directory. So this is what absolute. But in absolute path, what will you have to do? You have to give the complete path. C dot okay, :/recipe /cake /red velvet cake. So this is your complete path, and this is called what? Absolute path. Absolute path. And when you are going to use this particular thing, okay, macaroni like or relative path, so it is related to the current working directory. We are already in recipe, so we just go pasta and macaroni. So that is our relative path. Let us see the absolute path, also known as full path of the entity, containing the complete information from the root to ending needed to locate it. The absolute path is not affected by the user's current working directory, and it always includes the root directory as the starting point. So no matter in which particular directory or folder you are, remember folders and directories are same. Okay, in normal language we call them folders, but actually they are directories. So let us see the example. C recipes, pasta and macaroni. So this is the absolute path. But relative path of an entity contain the information needed to locate that entity related to the user's current working directory. So reference point for the relative path will be current working directory. The relative path disregards the information needed to locate the current working directory from the root directory and only focuses on the route from current working directory to the entity to which you are searching. So let us see the example like pasta and macaroni, because in recipes this is our current working directory, I already told. Let us see the next question. Differentiate between positional argument and default argument. Very simple. Positional argument means what? Position wise assignment. 100 will be assigned to A, 200 will be assigned to B. So A minus B will be minus 100. And if you call the same function with different values, A will be assigned with 200 and B will be assigned with 100. So position wise assignment. Default argument is what? In default argument, you can skip the argument which has the default value. So here I am giving to both the values for both the argument like A and B. For A 100, for B 200. So A value will be 100 and B value will be 200. But here I have given the value, one value only, so that will be assigned to A will be 100 and B default value will be. For second function call, for this one, the A and B value both are 100, A is also 100, B is also 100. So from where B value will came? From the default value. Let us read passed to a function in correct positional order. So order is important. The number and the position of the argument should be matched. If changed the number of argument, it returns an error and says the number of argument does not match. If we change their order, result will also change in the positional argument. And default argument, that is assigned a value in the function header itself during the function definition. If we are not providing value in the function call, default value will be assigned to the function call. So at this time in this function call, I am not giving value for B, default value of B will be assigned. Default value to argument must be assigned from right to left. Very important part. For any default argument, the values for the parameter, default values must be assigned from right to left. Let us see what is the scope and what is the scope resolving rules in Python. There is a rule called LEGV rule, local, extended, global and built-in. Let us see. Scope defines in which part of the program a particular piece of code or data would be known or can be accessed. So this is what scope means. At what particular part of the program your variable or functions are alive or can be accessed. So the rule is, first it will Python will search for any name inside the local scope, that value for that name. If it is not available, go for the enclosing scope. If it is not available, go for global. If it is not available, go for built-in scope. If it is not available in built-in also, produce an error saying not defined. Let us see. Python first looks for the local environment where there is a variable with the same name. Okay. Second, it checks for the enclosing environment. Like you see sometime what happens, there are nested blocks. So like if I write if, okay, and there we have some condition and some variable like x is defined 10, and again I have one more if here and some condition, and here I am trying to, here I have again x equal to 20, and that we try to print x here. So first time it will see into the local scope. This is what? Local. Okay, if it is not available in local, suppose this is not there, then Python will search in enclosing, because this is an enclosing scope for this local scope. Okay, fine. If it is not available in enclosing, go for the global. Okay, if it is not in global, go for built-in. Okay, so this is for built-in. So this is the way Python try to resolve the name, and this is called what? Name resolution. Second enclosing, third for global environment, finally checks in the built-in environment that contains built-in variable and function of the Python. Okay, fine. Next, if anywhere variable is found, Python uses it, otherwise Python reports the error that variable is not present. What is the difference between local scope and global scope? Also give a suitable Python code to illustrate both. Remember, always provide a code for your argument to support. So answers of such type of question must be written with some code which are explaining that particular concept. A local variable are those which are defined in a block. A global variable are those which are defined in the main scope of the program. To access the global variable within the function, we need to use the statement called global and then write the variable name. So a local variable assigned inside a function or in a loop, a local variable lifetime is their functions run. Till that function is alive, that variable is alive. A global variable declared at the top level of the module or program, and global variable lifetime is entire program run. So at the top level we are declaring a global variable, and this x is what? Local variable to that function. And what is the lifetime or span? This is a span. In this block it is alive. If I try to access here same variable, print x, it is going to give me error, not defined. So x and y both are local variable to this function f. And as you can see, a is a global variable that can be accessed inside the function. You have to use here what? The global a. So now this a is going to be used here. Fine, global keyword can be used for accessing a global variable inside the function. Explain the use of global keyword used in a function with the help of suitable example. Always write an example. In a Python, global keyword allows the programmer to modify the variable outside the current scope. It is used to create a global variable and make changes to the variable in the local context. A variable declared inside a function is by default local. A variable declared outside a function is global by default. The keyword global is written inside the function to use its global value outside the function. Uh, Global keyword has no effect. Okay, fine. So here I have declared a global variable. Now I want to access the same variable inside the function. So we have utilized that global keyword so that it will access the global copy of this variable num. Okay, and when you say num equal to 25, it is going to update the same copy. As you can see, the output will be what? 10 what is the value of global variable? 10. So 10 multiplied by 2, what is going to be come in the output? 20 here. Okay, but when you change that value to 25, it will come here 25. So in main, it is coming as 25. Inside that function mul, it is coming as 20. So that's it guys for this particular video. Thank you very much for patient listening. I hope you people are working very hard, and if these videos are helping in your preparation, please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much guys. Have a nice day.